Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am your sister Naomi, trying to record this on location early. Today is day 5 of fasting, and today is day 6, juice 6 of the Tarawih. So, the juices that are included, the chapters of the Quran that are included in juice 6 are chapters 4 and 5. Juice 6 begins at verse 148 of chapter 4 and ends at chapter 5, the 78th verse. I don't have all the numbers, so you're going to have to look in the juice for those non-Muslims who are interested in what is in the Quran. And there is much, much more. I only highlight and I only bring out the things that I feel like I want to share, but there is so much more in the Quran. So mentioned in Juice 6 is the recognition and the slander against Maryam, mother of Jesus, peace be upon her, and the saying that they killed Jesus, peace be upon him. And the Quran testifying and Allah telling us that he indeed took Jesus up to himself. And on the day of resurrection, Jesus will bear witness against those who bore false witness against him. Those who said we killed him, and also those who claim his divinity. Jesus, peace be upon him, never of himself said, I am God, worship me. Also mentioned is the Quran, Allah telling us that this is the same message that was sent to Prophet Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, peace be upon them, and also to the prophets that were not mentioned. There were many prophets that are not even mentioned. And there's a small list. This is in chapter 4, verse 163 to 166. And it also confirms that God spoke directly to Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Once again, Jesus, alayhi salam, peace be upon him, God is, through the Quran, reminding us and telling us and clarifying his position that he was a prophet of God. It also talks about that he was born without a father, similar to Adam, peace be upon him, who had no mother or father. And when you think about it, Adam, peace be upon him, wasn't even born in the traditional way. Allah knows the best. Who knows? He was never breastfed. He was never in a womb. He is the only man that another person came from. Eve, Hawa, alayhi salam. May Allah be pleased with them both. And so if the claim of divinity is that, peace be upon him, is that he had no father, well then Adam, peace be upon him, would be a bigger God because he had no father nor mother. So that isn't true. They are miracles. Those are miracles from God. There is no God but God. In chapter 4, verse 176, it talks about inheritance of people who have no children. So how do you distribute the wealth? How do you distribute the estate of someone who has no children? Chapter 5, verse 3, talks about the forbidden meat. And then we have inshallah, I can make this 5 to 10 minutes. So in chapter 5, verses 18 to 19, it mentions making wudu, making ablution. And this is also mentioned. This is mentioned in the Bible as far as washing up and ablution. In the Quran, this is instructing the Muslims how to make ablution before prayer. However, Jesus in the Bible also made wudu in John chapter 13, verses 1 through 5, in Matthew chapter 15, verse 2, mentioned also is Jesus, peace be upon him. And I wish I had my translation here. But the claim of spiritual superiority that a lot of, you know, Christians and Jews have, that, and I experienced it even when I was in a church, this exception. They are an exception. Jesus, I wanted to mention, peace be upon him, is mentioned more in the Quran than in the Bible. And Moses, peace be upon him, is the most mentioned prophet in the whole Quran. So Jesus is mentioned most in the Quran, and Mary, peace be upon them both, than in the Bible. The story of Cain and Abel is in the Quran, and here is how we get how to bury people. You'd be surprised how many, when I was a Christian, how many people, even now, that, and not judging anybody, but that cremate and do other kind of weird things that is not even biblical. And God sent a raven and taught the brother who killed his brother how to bury the dead body. And this is in the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, chapter 4. So a raven showed him how to bury the body. And then we have in chapter 5, verse 32, and this is a paraphrase, translated paraphrase of where we get the verse, whoever kills an innocent person, it is as if he killed all human beings. And whoever saves a life, it would be as if he gave life to all human beings. Chapter 5, verse 57 to 60, it goes on to warn Muslims to tell us, do not be friends with those who mock religion. And that's to everybody. No matter what religion that you are, please forgive the background noise. Do not, if you're loving God and you're striving in your best way to get close to God, don't be around people who mock you. Don't be around people who try to keep you from being close to God. We're just going to let this fly. We're just going to, I don't know. And in conclusion, we have here where Jesus himself says, O children of Israel, this is my favorite verse of the New Testament. O children of Israel, worship God only. Now this is in the Quran. It's in juice. It's in this juice. I didn't write it down. But this goes into the book of Deuteronomy. This is Old Testament. This is in the Torah, chapter 6, verses 4 to 15. And then Jesus reminded us of this in Mark, chapter 12, verse 29, saying that this is the most important verse. This is the most important thing. So when Jesus was asked about how to approach God, what is the relationship, how to pray, Jesus always said that God is one. He didn't say, I am God. He didn't say, worship me. He never said any of that. However, it's a scapegoat. It's a very comfortable scapegoat. How would you feel if you could do, if anything that you did, somebody else would pay for it? How would that make you feel? Nice scapegoat, right? Not real. We are all, may God guide us all and forgive us all. But we are all going to meet God, and we are all going to be held accountable for our deeds. We're not going to be able to go and throw somebody in front of us and say, well, they should pay. How fair is that? What if your child threw you in front of them and said, for everything that I did wrong, would you want to go to hellfire or pay? Or even here on earth, would you want to incur any type of punishment for the crimes of somebody else, and a guilty person? No, doesn't make sense. Not logical. Very emotional though, very romantical, but not real. So inshallah, you guys are having a great Ramadan. Please forgive all of the background alarms are going off. I don't know if your household is like this. During the morning especially. All right, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.